I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Hey, welcome to World Entertainment. And is James Bond finally on track to be restored to its glory days? That would be the indications. We don't quite know what's actually happening in terms of the casting for it, because if the rumours are still true, then we're still looking at this thing being in trouble. And there is one part of a comment here that will get people a bit worried, which I understand, but we just kind of have to wait. But we now don't just have the official director, which of course is Denis Villeneuve, but we now have an official writer, and a lot of people are very happy with who it is, because it's Peaky Blinders writer Stephen Knight. So let's have a look at this announcement and what he has said, because he says the right things, but there's a part in his comment that will get people kind of going, uh-oh. But let's just have a look. So it's saying, Amazon MGM Studios has announced that Stephen Knight of Peaky Blinders, Taboo and Loki will pen the script for 007's next adventure. Knight told the BBC shortly after his involvement was made public, "It's fantastic to be invited to do it. I can't wait to get started. I'm hoping that being a Bond fan for so many years, that will sort of be imbued into me, and I'll be able to produce something that's the same but different and better and stronger and bolder," he added. That's the part that will get people concerned, is that he says something that's the same but different. It's that word right there, different, that people will go, uh-oh. And yeah, in modern Hollywood, that is something to get concerned about. Look, do we need to go, at least he's a Bond fan? Look, everyone who gets involved in these things tends to turn around now and say, oh, I've always been a lifelong fan of this. And then you look at what they produced and said, are you sure you've been a lifelong fan of this? Doesn't really look like that. But Knight was also asked if he knows who will be stepping in to replace Daniel Craig as the iconic secret agent, and responded, very, very good question, and one I can't give you the answer to. So whether or not that's the case of he knows, doesn't know, don't know. But it says, we're not sure if Villeneuve and co have someone in mind. They may have already chosen the next Bond already, but a recent rumour claimed that Aaron Pierre of Lantern's Rebel Ridge was on the studio's radar. Now, that's the other part where you go, this could be a big issue with this. Of course, Aaron Pierre, for people who don't know, is black. Yeah, so there's two elements to this now that could get people incredibly worried, and possibly rightfully so. Well, one is definitely rightfully so, the other is impossible. The possible is when Knight says something the same but different. That's the part where you're like, Aaron Pierre, if he's chosen, yeah, people are gonna just reject it immediately. And of course, all the morons and the usual suspects will come out and go, oh, it's because you're all racist and blah blah blah. No, it's because James Bond is white, and if you can't deal with that, as you keep saying to all of us, don't watch it. Go away. Find something else. Create something else. It's easy, apparently. You know, it's funny when it goes one way, they're all happy with it and tell us all this crap, but when it goes the other, oh, no, can't do that. Just look at the explosion that happened when Marvel announced there was going to be a white Black Panther. And we saw all the usual suspects coming out going, you can't do that. And what do we all get to say? What's the big deal? If you don't like it, don't read it. Move on. But it is an interesting choice that's getting built for this movie. The fact that it is Denis Villeneuve as director and now Stephen Knight as writer. So you're looking at two powerhouses really kind of, that's starting to get people kind of go, okay, this could be in good hands. Problem is, again, you do have to kind of step back and take a look at things. One is the casting choice. Like, if it's not a straight white dude, yes, that sounds racist, but it's not, because it's who the character is. If it's not that, then we're in trouble. Denis Villeneuve, although he's doing good movies, you do have to kind of look at how he structures his movies, and they are very dialogue heavy, slow burns, pretty much. They're not that kind of fast-paced action type of movies that you would associate with a James Bond movie. So that is a bit kind of where you go, I don't know if he's the right choice for that. And Stephen Knight saying that he wants to produce something that's the same but different is where you kind of go, don't not want to hear you saying that. You should have just said something familiar. And then, like, if he said something the same but better and stronger and bolder, that's the part you could live with. You'd be like, that sounds cool, that sounds what we want. The bolder part might be where you kind of go, what's he mean by that? But it's the word different that he throws in there that's going to have people concerned. I don't know whether we should be. I think at present time, the main thing to be concerned about is who in the hell is going to get cast to play 007. Because, again, if it's Aaron Pierre, then people are just going to reject this movie immediately. And again, all you're going to get is people going, oh, you're just racist and stuff like that. When the reality is, you can't just willy-nilly come in and change these characters. And we are seeing now in Hollywood, whether it's on the big screen or even the small screen, when they're doing these things, people are starting to reject it. In fact, people have reached that point where they're just like, you know what, I'm sick of you changing this. Why? Why did you change the character? It makes no sense. It didn't need to be done. You didn't need to race swap this character. You didn't need to gender swap this character. And when they do it, how come it's only in the one direction that it happens? How come it's only the straight white guy that gets changed? It's no one else. It's always just the straight white guy. And people are pretty much at this stage absolutely sick of it. So it's going to be interesting to see. And of course, we know Denis Villeneuve talked about how he grew up watching James Bond movies with his father, and how ingrained it is to him. So again, we have two people now who are going to be your main people working on this movie. Denis Villeneuve directing, Stephen Knight writing, and we have them saying the right things. Oh, I grew up, it's ingrained in me, I'm an absolute Bond fan. But if they start accepting these changes, like if Amazon walk in and say, we want Aaron Pierre, it's up to these two to say, well, okay, we can bring him in as maybe the villain or maybe a side character or something, but we can't bring him in as James Bond, because that's not who James Bond is. James Bond is a straight white British dude. End off. If they don't do that, if they're like, yeah, we love that choice, then the movie's done. It's toast. Nobody's going to want it, and people will reject it. We're going to have to wait and see, but as of right now, they're saying the right things, but we'll see how long it lasts. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.